Tonight you will take the first step into the profession of pharmacy.
We are Lepquinm, Gagoadim, Tsimshian dancers. Our group name means our own dance in our hearts.
It's really important that we think about how medications make an impact in people's lives when they're used properly.
If you are an experienced, competent healthcare provider, you touch the world.
You will never stop learning, never stop listening, and never stop caring for your patients, their families, and your profession.
Please stay standing and recite after me the Code of Ethics.
Dr. Janelle Feller, Clinical Assistant Professor here at UAA ISU Doctor of Pharmacy Program, to assist with the coding. Well, good evening. I hope you enjoyed the video. Ryan worked long and hard on that. And I hope you saw that we've got a really interesting and robust program here in Anchorage. My name is Dr. Tom Wadsworth, and I'm the Assistant Dean of the UAA ISU Doctor of Pharmacy program here in Anchorage. And we want to warmly thank you for joining us tonight and welcome the Doctor of Pharmacy class of 2022, which is our third class in Alaska's Doctor of Pharmacy program. So this is called the White Coat Ceremony. And the White Coat Ceremony celebrates the initiation of our students into the College of Pharmacy and into the profession of pharmacy. And this is a very important occasion where new students stand shoulder to shoulder with some of Alaska's outstanding professionals in the field of pharmacy. Students today will don their white coat for the first time. And the white coat is a symbol of their pledge of excellence to their new family here and to all others they see in healthcare professionals. Now I'd like to recognize the Alaska Pharmacists Association for their support at this event, and we have some members here. You will see on the white coat their insignia on the pocket of each white coat. Each student is a member of this great professional association. This program would not be here tonight without this group's generous support and forward thinking. And I'd ask for a round of applause for that. We'd also like to, before we get started, to take this opportunity to recognize a few of our special members in the audience today. And these people have taken time out of their very busy schedules today to be here to share in this celebration with our students. They have contributed significant time and resources to this unique partnership that we have with the College of Pharmacy, for which we are very grateful. We'd ask that they please rise as we read their names and remain standing until all names have been read, and then the audience, please hold your applause until all have been acknowledged. John Stalvey, Interim Provost of the University of Alaska, Anchorage. Dr. Rex Force, Vice President of Health Sciences, Idaho State University. Jeff Jesse, Dean of the UAA College of Health. Dr. Sara Supe, Board Member of the Alaska Pharmacists Association. Jeremy O'Neill, Valdez City Mayor and President of the Providence Valdez Medical Center. To all of you, and on behalf of the College of Pharmacy and the students, I'd like to thank you for your dedication and support. Please join me in a round of applause.
Indogishim will Gagoadim Shishim Slabathlaskan Dash Nushim Sigmana Sigigit Shamoygit Gabawasik Tani Nagedek Altup Edit Gabit Goose William Goduk Nualnishim Shagat Nimi Dat Simshendawayu and Hadadim Tehu Will Akshamadik Duaku Nigyoksiu Sagan Hitland Adalakulam Nat Ashku Lepquinm Gumilgit Hakno. Good evening, how's everyone doing today? Good. What I said in our native language of Shimagit was chiefs, matriarchs, councils of the chiefs, princes and princesses, everyone in the community and all the children. I'm very happy to see you here today. My traditional name is Tsimshian, which means pull songs from the river Skeena. My English name is Marcella Se'iga. I'm Tsimshian from the Raven clan. My family comes from Metlakatla, Alaska, and today I live here in Anchorage. The two Tsimshian tribes that I belong to in Canada are the Gitlan on my mother's side and the Lepquinm on my father's side. We are Lepquinm Tsimshian dancers. Our group name means our own dance in our hearts. We're a multi-generational dance group. Our youngest member turned 1 in March, and our oldest member just turned 93. The first song that we sang for you is an outside song. Outside songs were sung in our canoes, announcing ourselves to the village that we're visiting, showing that we come in peace, and asking them permission to set foot on their land. Our outside song we always do out of respect to the Dena'ina people as we're on Athabascan land here in Anchorage, and we're very grateful that we can practice our culture being so far away from home. The song that brought us onto the stage was a four-clan canoe song that was written by Don Wells of Terrace, British Columbia, Canada, and each of the masks represented the 4 clans of our people: Eagle, Killawell, Raven, and Wolf. The next song that we'll share with you is a welcome song called Seen. Seen in our language means come in. This song was composed in 1994 when David Boxley hosted a 4-day memorial potlatch in memory of his grandfather. When he had initially started doing the planning, it was going to be his grandfather's 100th birthday, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it all the way to that, but the planning still continued into celebrating his life. The English translation to the song is, "You're welcome to this house. Come in, don't be afraid. Come, sit, let us eat our food together. We'll sing, we'll dance, and we'll have peace. Our doors are open to you, our hearts are open to you. Come in, come in." In the chorus of the song, you'll see the dancers make an arm motion that represents a rainbow. David Boxley carved a totem pole 60 foot tall, and at the very top, he put a man holding up a rainbow towards the sky to signify that even though his grandfather isn't with us today, our culture is still strong and our culture is still bright. This is our welcome song. Thank you very much. Our last song that we'll share with you is called Paddle to Metlakatla. In November of 2016, our dance group had the opportunity of performing at the National Museum of American Indian the week of Thanksgiving, and we had the honor of sharing the dance floor with the Git High X dancers of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And this song was gifted to us as well as one of the paddles that will be danced. And this song is one of our Adaos, our true tellings of our people's journey from British Columbia, Canada to Alaska. And when our people got to our island where we reside today, they got to a point called Tafwalye. We know it as Point Davis today. But a lot of our people were very tired. Some didn't make the whole journey, and some got very sick. And one of our women in the leading canoes, she stood up and raised her paddle, and she said, "Wah, Tina Shelkit." And in our language, that means we will cry no more, because it shows that we made the journey, and with all the struggles that our people went through, we made it to the very end. And I think that song speaks to a lot of us, and we're celebrating a lot of journeys today with the white coat ceremony that's taking place today. And so on behalf of the Alaska Native, on behalf of Lepquinm, Gumilgit, Tsimshian dancers, we'd just like to say, thank you very much for having us today.
I don't know if that's the most unique welcoming at a white coat ever. And we want to thank the LGG dancers for donating their time. This is the third year that they volunteered to come and welcome our class, and we're honored to have them. For the next part of our program, we'll now hear from Vice President of Health Sciences at Idaho State University, Dr. Rex Force, and I'd like to introduce him now.
Thank you. That is a tough act to follow, for sure. I want to take just a few minutes to talk about the profession of pharmacy and to talk about where this program came from. And really, we've been working on this project, and I've been involved really from the very beginning for over 6 years. So when I get the opportunity to come up here, from Pocatello, Idaho, which is where our main campus is and where I live, it's really fantastic to see something that we've created, something that really makes a difference in the lives of our students and really in the lives of Alaskans and the patients that we serve. I'd also like to take just a moment to thank our partners, because we really couldn't have done it without tremendous contributions from the University of Alaska Anchorage and the State Pharmacy Association that really provided us with the kind of support that really was necessary to get this done. The facilities that we have here at the University of Alaska Anchorage are fantastic. They're top-notch. In some ways, they're better than what we have on our other campuses, although I'm not supposed to say that. We have to have the same kind of facilities on all of our campuses. But really, the rooms, the laboratories, the study areas, the student lounge are absolutely beautiful and fantastic here on this campus. And we really appreciate what the UAA has done for us and for the program, and to support the students with those facilities. I also want to take just a moment as this is our third year, so our students next year will be going out and spending more time in the clinical setting, in practice settings. And we can't do it without partnerships in the community. So hospitals, clinics, other pharmacies are extremely important for the education of our students. We have to have that kind of support to be able to provide the next generation of pharmacists. And really that's true across the health professions. We're all apprentices at one point, and that apprenticeship really relies on the previous generation of practitioners to be able to provide support and the learning environment for our students. And so we really, really appreciate that support that comes from our community partners. Let's see if the slides work here. Oh, that was the thank you. Well, what does it mean to become a pharmacist? I happen to be a pharmacist. I work with all of our different health professions at Idaho State University, but I'm an academic pharmacist. I've worked at ISU for 25 years. What does it mean to be a pharmacist? This is a professional doctorate. A professional doctorate degree. That means there's a lot of training, there's a lot of commitment, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. And that responsibility is legal, it's regulatory, but it's also ethical. It relates to the patient care that we provide and making that commitment to our patients and to our colleagues in the settings that we work in. So a tremendous amount of responsibility that comes with this kind of healthcare degree. Nursing has it, medicine has it, most of our healthcare disciplines have that kind of ethical and moral responsibility to our patients. But it's an important thing to think about moving forward. And we need to hold ourselves accountable and hold those that we work with accountable too, that we're doing the things that are best for our patients at all times in our professional lives. We as pharmacists are the drug expert. You will know more than you ever want to know about some of these medications that you're going to be studying over the next 4 years. But it's an important part of the healthcare system. And if you think about it, and it's really my fourth bullet on this slide, patient outcomes are highly dependent upon the medications that our patients take. Now, it's not just simply putting the capsule or the tablet in your mouth as a patient, right? That has to come with an understanding of how those medications work with the body, how those medications work with one another, the interactions that might occur, how they work and can be influenced by disease states that those patients have. And so it's a very complex system that we're dealing with when we talk about the drug therapy, or the pharmacotherapy is the term that you will hear moving forward. The other thing about pharmacy is it offers us a tremendous responsibility and opportunities to do many different things within the healthcare system. And pharmacists are involved in running healthcare facilities. They're involved in the education, obviously, of other healthcare providers. They're involved in quality improvement initiatives. They're involved in a variety of different roles within the healthcare system. Insurance plans, managed care, all kinds of opportunities are open to you as a pharmacist. I put this slide up 2 years ago when I was here because, and that's me sort of in the shadows over there on, I guess, your far right. These are 4 pharmacists, and these pharmacists have been fishing together for 25 years. Now, none of those pharmacists on that screen work in a traditional pharmacy. None of them. I happen to work in the academic setting, training future pharmacists and other healthcare providers. One of them works for pharmaceutical industry. So he works at developing and marketing medications, new medications that come out from the pharmaceutical company that he works for, AstraZeneca. One of them also works for managed care, and he sells programs to managed care providers to be able to, and I talk about programs, I'm talking about computer software and other services that improve the use of medications within healthcare systems. But his background and his knowledge in pharmacy has really set him up for that. And he's an entrepreneur. The last one, on the left, works for a university health system, but works in the area called specialty pharmacy. This is very specific drugs that may be used in very rare diseases and in situations where there aren't many patients who have those conditions. Very expensive medications, how to manage that therapy, manage the cost associated with managing those very expensive conditions is really his specialty area. And yet, none of them do the traditional pharmacy that you think of a druggist behind the drugstore counter. Now that is an important role as well, and many of you may end up working in that kind of a setting or in a hospital. But the point of this slide is that there are all kinds of opportunities available to pharmacists moving forward in our evolving healthcare system. So, never forget while you're here, because it really does boil down to the patients that we serve. And I think it's really important that we think about how medications make an impact in people's lives when they're used properly. And the medication regimens that we will help to manage moving forward are more and more complex than ever. And so this professional doctorate degree that you're setting out on this path to obtain is extremely important for the health and welfare of our patients. When it comes right down to it, you want to make sure that you lead with your heart and not with your head. Because when you're faced with those kinds of decisions, it's important to make sure that we're doing the best things that we can for our patients. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Force. Now we have a special guest speaker tonight. This guest speaker I've known for many years and is a close friend of mine. His name is Jeremy O'Neill. He is the mayor of Valdez and the president of Providence Valdez Medical Center, which is a critical access hospital tonight. And he so generously volunteered to come speak with us. Please help me welcome Jeremy O'Neill.
Thank you, everyone. It's a real honor to be here tonight and to see the faces of the up-and-coming P1s, the anticipation, the pride that the parents and the other support groups should have today is well-deserved. I happen, as Tom mentioned, to know the assistant dean of the College of Pharmacy here in Anchorage, and he's a genuine soul. If I were heaven forbid, a P1 in the making, I would know that I would be well cared for. He's a passionate educator. He knows his craft very well, and he'll be a great mentor. I want to thank ISU and the University of Alaska Anchorage for their partnership. The efforts that are being taken right now are proactive, they're innovative. You see partnerships like this forming more and more to address the community need, the state need, to secure a workforce for the future. And that's the hope for every P1 and P2 and P3 and next year P4, is that you will blossom into wonderful, capable pharmacists that will live and work, hopefully, in our great state. I'm a third-generation Alaskan. I ran into Tom long ago when I was just an analyst there at Fairbanks Memorial. He was working on the third floor, which is Chief Andrew Isaac. They've since moved across the road into a very beautiful clinic, but that dates going back to the early 2000s. Let me grab my clicker. One of the things Tom had mentioned about me speaking was I represent a little bit of a hybrid. I'm a current administrator for a hospital, and at the same time I chose to enter politics. The reason for that, and the slide illustrates just kind of the impact to our overall health that things like hospitals and clinics, anything with the word care after it, plays an 11% role in our wellness. Okay, the other 89% is made up by other factors, environmental, social, which means that you all who are entering into the healthcare profession will be faced with questions about why am I in this situation and why can't you help me? And the answer, in many cases with the miracle of technology, sometimes those hard, tough questions can be answered. Other times it's a discussion about what a lifelong journey in wellness can result in. I have a friend of mine. She's a nurse. She's a population health program director. Population health is somewhat of a buzzword in our industry right now. I would, in a nutshell, it's preventative care at a very broad level. When we go to the doctor through the care team that they have, generally they give one-on-one care. Population health is care that goes in advance, preventative to the community. And Olivia comes into my office. She's very idealistic, full of life and energy. She wants to change the world. And oftentimes when we're thinking about how to improve the health of a whole population, I think this video kind of captures the essence of Olivia and I's journey. I know what you might be thinking. He's a lawyer, he's a mayor, he's a hospital administrator, and he just played a cat video. Yeah, healthcare right now is in a really ambiguous, very experimental kind of state where there's a lot of trial and error. The costs are escalating. We've never had a more advanced technical access to truly remarkable care, and that's what is represented here. Nevertheless, a lot of the care is after, the condition has already manifested. To get to the other 89%, we are going to have to be very comfortable with failure. Olivia's first population, and I say it's Olivia, it's truly a community, including our pharmacy professionals, was a target population of age 55 plus with a BMI greater than 30, having a smoking history or presently smoking, and at least one ED visit in the last 12 months. Okay, you can imagine and I think I have a picture of Olivia. Yeah, there's a you can imagine the challenges of dealing with conditions that are that entrenched into the behavior of an individual. My question is, does anybody have a significant other, spouse, boyfriend? I'm guessing quite a few of you. And have you ever offered unsolicited advice as to how they should change their life for the better? And then how did that go for you? Imagine, that's population health, is getting the Hondas. The Hondas are the hypertensive, obese, diabetic, asthmatic, non-compliant, and I think I didn't spell Honda right, but that's your Hondas. And they're like you and I. They might be you and I, someday. And it's going to be a lot of trial and error. It's going to require a passion. It's going to require a love. It's going to require a zealous view toward the people in this journey. As far as non-compliance goes, I have another quick little video. And is there sound? This one's going to need sound.
Fixed it, but it didn't make any difference at all.
Well, sometimes doctors make mistakes. Anna, you need to try twice as hard to fix them. Are you using your inhaler?
All the time. Go through one a week.
You sure you're using it right?
Do I look like an idiot?
No. Why don't you show me how your inhaler works?
I wish that wasn't so authentic. And welcome to this wonderful world of that interaction with imperfect people. When they enter the healthcare setting, they're instantly vulnerable. That could, this is dramatic, but I've seen situations where similar behavior is displayed by healthcare professionals, who've been in the industry for, decades, but once they become a patient, they are vulnerable, and the communication barriers go up, and so the need is to be a master communicator. I'm going to transition. I gave that one away. I'm going to transition really quick to some of the rural things that we're facing right now in the state of Alaska. I titled the talk Tundra and Tumbleweed, and for me, having grown up in a lot of these places that are covered with tundra, it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. It's extremely fragile, extremely fragile. A lot of the work done on the North Slope has to be done in the winter because they have to make sure that there's a sufficient amount of ice and snow to protect the tundra. If they don't, it'll be scarred till long after you and I have left the earth. The conditions that face our rural healthcare providers right now are absolutely dependent on workforce. Without workforce, there is no healthcare. The fact that we did not have a pharmacy school even 3 years ago required that every pharmacist who came to Alaska to work had to be educated somewhere else. There were rotations, there might have been residencies that they could fulfill here. Nevertheless, they would have had to study and occupy a state other than Alaska. And this is a troubling condition, and it needs programs like the ISU-UAA partnership. The last little area I'm going to cover is obstetrics. So there's currently a desert, and if you think of a desert, gone unchecked, the sands tend to migrate, the aridness can spread. Everybody here was born? Okay. So at some point in your life, you had the need of somebody with some obstetric expertise. You all saw a gentleman that I flashed prematurely. The question was, who was the first president born in a hospital? And for you millennials out there, I don't know if you know who that was, but he was actually, so Jimmy Carter was the first president actually born in a hospital. It was 1924, it was Plains, Georgia. And in 1930, infant mortality rate was 72.2 per 100 lives, per 1,000 lives. Okay? In 1930, 36.9% of babies were being born in hospitals. Okay? Nowadays, you wouldn't imagine having a baby. Well, I take that back. There is somewhat of a resurgence, but not a very large one of people delivering outside of hospitals. Nevertheless, the major place that babies come into this world right now are hospitals. By 1975, 99% of deliveries took place in hospitals, and the worldwide infant mortality rate is now 5.9. And there are states, Mississippi and Alabama, that have it at 9.6. That puts them in between Botswana and Bahrain. Alaska at 5.4 ranks 14th against other states. In Valdez, there's something going on that's a little different, and it's because of programs like this. Okay, it just takes one. And UL1s someday will become that one. If you are an experienced, competent healthcare provider, you touch the world. You can impact the world. What's going on in Valdez right now is we have a pharmacist, okay, who belongs to a care team. There are fewer and fewer communities like Valdez that are able to offer that. Dr. Cullen, who's one of our 4 family practice physicians, has this quote: "For small communities like ours, if you don't do obstetrics, you're still going to do obstetrics. Only you're not going to be able to handle the emergency." I'd like to share a little family memento. This is something that I'm very proud of. My aunt, Doris. If you can see, I'll read for you. Under location, or city, town, birth, can you see that? It says airplane. 50 miles north of Fort Yukon. Has anybody ever been to Fort Yukon? Got 2 hands. Has anybody ever heard of Fort Yukon? It's up on the Yukon. In the 50s, there was a buildup because of the Cold War, and there was actually a military presence. That's why it's even more remarkable that you have an MD who's living in Fort Yukon. I'll also make mention of the fact that under the father's occupation, you have aircraft pilot. So my grandfather had to dispatch his co-pilot to go deliver his daughter 50 miles north of Fort Yukon. And I'll read that quote from Dr. Cullen really quick. "For small communities like ours, if you don't do obstetrics, you're still going to do obstetrics." There's just something irreversible about a baby that wants to come into the world. To say that this access to vital care is going to be, forever secure, would be going too far. But it's through partnerships, both in this state and out of this state, that makes our future a little stronger. And there will be pharmacists in my hometown interacting with new mothers and new babies to make sure that they're well and make sure that they have the best chance of having a healthy life. And then my last note here is in 2013, we actually had one of those moments where we thought we were going to lose one of the partnerships. We had UAA, we have a nursing program in Valdez. We've had it since the early 2000s. And since we've had it, the use of travelers, and travelers they're good when you need them, and when you need them, you really need them. So in place of a full-time permanent employee, you'd use a traveler, and they come and they'll do a 13-week stint. They might do a shorter stint. Nevertheless, it's the investment in the community, the cost to the community that is impacted by having to use travelers. And in 13, we lost a professor. We lost a professor and of the nursing program. And we panicked. We absolutely panicked, because without nurses, that number over off to the left of having, in upwards of 10 traveling nurses, which represents an enormous part of our workforce, would truly impact the quality of care and patient safety. Because of partnerships that have been secured and sustained with the University of Alaska at Anchorage, with the various communities, our community, the communities that ISU and UAA will touch with this pharmacy program, we have a better chance to address the future. And I want to end with this, my money slide, okay? So parents and students, grab your cell phones, take a picture of this, because this is going to pay for the cost of admission right here, mostly because of the top left, or the bottom left one. The SHARP is a student loan repayment program by the university, or by the state of Alaska. One that I'm very proud of, one that continues to innovate and offer new, very helpful assistance to the high cost of healthcare. I'm just paying off my student loans, and I know parents and students are certainly cost conscious. But Google SHARP Alaska, and you won't be disappointed. Rule number 6, and the Peter Drucker comment are somewhat related. Rule number 6 is don't take yourself too seriously. Play a cat video every once in a while. The work is so difficult already that if you're going to be able to work in effective teams, I think the Drucker statement hits it spot on, is that culture is going to eat strategies breakfast. We can put a lot of effort into having the greatest plan in the world. Oftentimes, what stands up is how you interact with your coworkers, with your your colleagues that you're P1s with. That's that social concrete that really changes the world for a better place. And I'm going to leave it with a few words or a few thoughts from Robert Service, my favorite poet. The homework I want to give you is to go and to read The Spell of the Yukon, if you're new to Alaska, or if you are old to Alaska. The hope and the aspiration of this program is to capture the essence of those who love this state, who are hypnotized by the wonder, who acknowledge that with using his words, it's the cussedest land I know, but I would trade it for no place on earth. It is the stillness and the silence that brings peace. I want to thank everybody here. I wish the P1s the best of luck. Study hard. And to the parents and the supporters, give them all the gift baskets and the letters. They're going to need their time to bury in the books, because we're counting on them to make the world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Now, to welcome these new pharmacy students into the profession, please join me in welcoming Dr. Sara Supe from the board of, who is a board member of the Alaska Pharmacists Association. Dr. Supe.
Hi, good evening. I'm honored to be part of today's celebration and to welcome you to the profession of pharmacy. The Alaska Pharmacists Association and I would like to begin by congratulating you and your families for the achievement of becoming a part of this program. So I'm going to start off by asking the audience a few questions. I know how much Dr. Wadsworth likes his trivia, so get ready. Participation is required. So who here knows what year the first ever pharmacy white coat ceremony was held? Don't all jump at once. Anybody got any guesses? Molly? No? Quite a few years before then. Anybody else want to throw out a guess? 1995. It was the University of Kentucky. So what year was the first white coat ceremony for pharmacy held at ISU? Does anybody know that one? Nope, it was 2001. So this one should be quite a bit easier. What year was the first UAA ISU white coat ceremony held? Yeah, 2016. So we've come a long way from 1995 pharmacy world to 2016, even to today. So many of you probably believe this ceremony marks the beginning of your journey to becoming a pharmacist. But truly, this ceremony represents your past, present, and your future. First, the white coat ceremony represents your past. It's taken a lot to get here. Good grades, test scores, endless prerequisites, interviews, references. It's a lot of hard work. You've already accomplished so much just to get here, as evidenced by being accepted into this special program. The donning of the white coat marks the journey of where you've been and the determination that got you here. Second, the white coat ceremony represents your present. It's your welcome into the School of Pharmacists family. Your fellow P1 classmates, and even the P2 and the P3 students that you may not even know yet, they're going to become your family. They're the ones traveling this journey alongside you. So stay present in the moment, absorb the didactic material, get involved, take advantage of every opportunity, and hold strong to the relationships you will gain throughout your schooling. And lastly, the white coat ceremony represents your future. You are now on this journey. It's been a common theme through all of the speeches. It's a journey. And becoming a pharmacist is a journey. It's not a destination. Like all good journeys, the scenery is going to be ever-changing, and sometimes rapidly. The white coat represents your commitment to continuing your education and advancing your profession. It's a commitment to practicing at the top of your degree and to always advocate for your patients. The thing is, though, there's a lot more journey ahead of you than there is behind you. If you're a great pharmacist, you will never stop learning, never stop listening, and never stop caring for your patients, their families, and your profession. Over the next 4 years, I want you to continually ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? Not what can I accomplish, but what do I want to accomplish? Nothing great ever came from people doing things they thought they could do. Rather, it comes when people find their passion and do things that they thought they couldn't do. So I want you to work on finding your passion. I want you to work on finding what the white coat means to you. These white coats will fit each of you differently, as will your place in pharmacy, so you just have to find the coat that's best tailored to you. Remember why you got into pharmacy in the first place. Remember your desire to help people. My best piece of advice is not what you may think. In my opinion, the most important things for you to learn, develop, and master are not the vast arrays of facts, disease processes, pharmacology, or treatment guidelines that are taught here or in residency. Rather, our abilities to actively listen, appreciate context, employ critical thinking in those complex clinical scenarios, and to engage patients in needed behavior modification. Those are the skills that are going to keep us relevant and distinguishable from other healthcare providers. And whether the legislation or insurance companies want to recognize us as that or not, it's exactly what we are, healthcare providers. We're the most accessible and some of the most trusted healthcare providers. That's exactly what makes our profession so special. We're on the front lines and our communities depend on us. So thank you for allowing me and the Alaska Pharmacists Association to be part of this special day. But furthermore, thank you for your commitment to the health and well-being of others. Congratulations and best of luck on your journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Supe. Okay, to the students. The white coat ceremony provides the venue in which the values that are key to our profession are openly articulated and carefully considered in the company of peers, parents, partners, and faculty. Tonight you will take the first step into the profession of pharmacy. You will don the white coat as a symbol of that step and sign the Pharmacist Code of Ethics. You will be expected to follow that code for your time here with us as a student, and more importantly, for the rest of your professional life. It is important to realize that once you become a pharmacist, you will always remain part of this profession. Here with us tonight is the UAA ISU Class of 2021 Pharmacy student and Anchorage Senate President, Leyla Sinyawski, and she will lead you in the recitation of the Pharmacy Code of Ethics. Leyla.
Thank you, Dr. Wadsworth. Will the class of 2022 please rise? Pharmacists are health professionals who assist individuals in making the best use of their medication. This code, prepared and supported by pharmacists, is intended to state publicly the principles that form the fundamental basis of the roles and responsibilities of pharmacists. These principles, based on moral obligations and virtues, are established to guide pharmacists in relationships with patients, health professionals, and society. Please stay standing and recite after me the Code of Ethics, which is located on the back of your program. A pharmacist respects the covenantal relationship between the patient and pharmacist.
A pharmacist respects the covenantal relationship between the patient and the pharmacist.
A pharmacist promotes the good of every patient in a caring, compassionate, and confidential manner.
A pharmacist promotes the good of every patient in a caring, compassionate, and confidential manner.
A pharmacist respects the autonomy and dignity of each patient.
A pharmacist respects the autonomy and dignity of each patient.
A pharmacist acts with honesty and integrity in professional relationships.
A pharmacist acts with honesty and integrity in professional relationships.
A pharmacist maintains professional competence.
A pharmacist maintains professional competence.
A pharmacist respects the values and abilities of colleagues and other health professionals.
A pharmacist respects the values and abilities of colleagues and other health professionals.
A pharmacist serves individual, community, and societal needs.
A pharmacist serves individual, community, and societal needs.
A pharmacist seeks justice in the distribution of health resources.
A pharmacist seeks justice in the distribution of health resources.
Thank you, Leyla. And now is the time. Time for the presentation of your white coat, for which you have all been waiting. And I would like now to have Dr. Inherit Ratliff, Clinical Assistant Professor here at UAA ISU Doctor of Pharmacy Program, and Dr. Sara Supe from the Alaska Pharmacy Association Board to assist with the coding. Now, before we get started, I'd like to give you a few instructions in order to ensure things run smoothly. The students will proceed to the stage when your name is called, and at that time turn to the audience and you will be coded. After you are coded, I'd like to invite Vice President Rex Force to come to the stage and congratulate them here on this side of the podium. And then proceed to the table and sign the Code of Ethics. And this Code of Ethics will be displayed until you graduate in 2022. Then I'll have you line up at the back of the stage, and at the conclusion of the coding ceremony, we'll take a group picture. And at that time, family and friends can come forward and take a group picture as well. And then there'll be plenty of time after the ceremony for you to take individual pictures with the backdrop and all of the good stuff that's going on Facebook tonight. Right? Okay. We'll now proceed. Harrison Alford. Talethia Bogart. Chi Do. Janelle Feller. Jacob Jordan. Jose Lopez. Joining Jose tonight to rope him is his mentor, pharmacist mentor, Mark Nolte. Naiomi Morales Cortes. Kellie Rasay. Mikayla Romney. Pao Thao. Carrie Urena. Ronald Wagoner. Ron, I'm going to have to go back and shake those two people's hands. Thanks, Ron. Sharay Young. Shift that way. Yeah, I missed it. Nana, this doesn't mean anything. Nana McMillan, and I think we should give her a round of applause. I should say that Nana, that is extremely ironic. She was our first admit in this class. Okay, so now let me have you come forward out of the shadows. Move that forward, and if you'll come in front of that table. Boy, those shirts get brighter in that light, don't they? One step forward just a little bit, single file. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the UAA ISU Doctor of Pharmacy Class of 2022. Our event for this evening. We do have food and beverages outside. Please join us for that reception immediately following here. And like I said, the students will stay here. We'll get all the pictures you need. Thank you, everyone.